Quiet Revolution: How Black Women Are Rewriting the Rules of Success. 3 years ago, I had the privilege of interviewing Katridra Benjamin, a visionary whose wisdom continues to echo through the corridors of my mind. Katridra isn't just a business leader, she's a spiritual architect, rebuilding the foundations of success for an entire generation. Her insights have transformed countless lives, including my own, by challenging the very structures that define achievement in America. What makes her revolutionary isn't just what she's accomplished, but how she's redefining what accomplishment means for those who've been told their dreams are too audacious to pursue. Have you ever stood at the edge of your ambition, peering into the vast unknown of possibility, only to hear that voice, sometimes external, often internal, whispering that you should retreat to safer ground, that your dreams exceed your grasp, that people like you don't belong in spaces like that? I see those nods. We've all been there, haven't we? But what if I told you that the very barriers designed to contain your potential could become the foundation stones of your greatest triumph? What if rejection isn't the period at the end of your story, but merely a comma in a much longer, more magnificent sentence? This is the gospel according to Katridra Benjamin. And it's not some fluffy, Instagram friendly affirmation. It's a battle tested philosophy forged in the crucible of real struggle and authentic triumph. Let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't another bootstrapping narrative, because frankly, that metaphor has always been problematic. You can't pull yourself up by bootstraps you were never given. This is about something far more revolutionary: the quiet insurrection happening right now as Black women entrepreneurs transform American business from the inside out. The statistics paint a sobering portrait. Black women entrepreneurs receive less than 1% of venture capital funding, not 10%, not 5%, less than 1%. They face loan denial rates nearly 3 times higher than their white counterparts. Their businesses are consistently undervalued, their leadership questioned, their innovations scrutinized with skepticism rather than celebrated with enthusiasm. And yet, and yet, Black women represent the fastest growing demographic of business owners in America. How is this possible? That paradox led me straight to Katridra Benjamin's door. During our conversation, she shared 3 principles that have become my compass in navigating both personal and professional landscapes. First, never give up. No matter where you start or what you faced, your story isn't over. Second, put faith and authenticity at the center of your life. Third, community matters. You are never alone on this path. Simple words, profound impact. Let's unpack them together. Never giving up sounds like the kind of advice you'd find on a discount store motivational poster, doesn't it? But there's a world of difference between not giving up because you're stubborn and not giving up because you understand that persistence is a form of resistance against systems designed to exclude you. In our interview, Katridra shared a powerful example that illuminates this principle. The Soft Girl Era podcast featured an episode highlighting how Black women entrepreneurs are orchestrating a transformation in American business. These women encountered obstacles that would crush most spirits: systematic exclusion from capital, deliberate underrepresentation in leadership, persistent stereotypes questioning their capabilities at every turn. But instead of accepting these barriers as immovable, they built something revolutionary: ecosystems of mutual support. They created mentorship networks where none existed. They established resource sharing collectives that bypassed traditional gatekeepers. They stopped waiting for the system to accommodate them and started building parallel structures that served their communities. One entrepreneur featured in the episode had been rejected by 17 banks before launching her business. 17 rejections, 17 doors slammed in her face, 17 times she was told her vision wasn't viable, her business plan wasn't sound, her experience wasn't sufficient. Most of us would have surrendered after the third rejection, maybe the fifth, certainly by the 10th. But this woman understood something profound. Each no brought her one step closer to the yes that would change everything. Her persistence didn't just transform her individual circumstances, it created ripples that continue to expand. Her business now employs dozens of people from her community. She mentors young entrepreneurs facing similar barriers. Her success has become a blueprint for others, proving that the impossible is often simply the untried. That's the power of never giving up. It's not just about personal triumph, it's about creating cascades of possibility that transform entire communities. Now, let's explore the second principle, putting faith and authenticity at the center of your life. During our conversation, Katridra emphasized something that resonated deeply with me. She said, true power comes from staying true to yourself and recognizing that nothing is above the Spirit of God. Your purpose, resilience, and blessings flow from that connection. In a culture obsessed with external validation, likes, shares, followers, quarterly earnings, there's something revolutionary about anchoring yourself in something deeper, something truer, something that can't be diminished by market fluctuations or algorithm changes or someone else's assessment of your worth. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's practical business strategy. Katridra shared insights from Narniki Pierre Grant featured on the Soft Girl Era podcast. Grant spoke about how Black women are fueling America's entrepreneurial renaissance despite systemic obstacles. These women faced barriers that seemed insurmountable, difficulty securing funding due to entrenched bias, limited access to established entrepreneurial networks, the exhausting tax of being the only one in countless professional spaces. Their response? They leveraged data driven advocacy using research and statistics to challenge assumptions about risk and return. They built supportive peer communities that shared resources, opportunities, and wisdom openly. But beneath these tactical approaches was something more fundamental, an unshakable belief in their own value and purpose. They didn't contort themselves to fit existing business models. They created new ones aligned with their authentic values. They didn't chase trends, they established them. And in doing so, they ignited a quiet revolution, a historic surge of business creation across diverse industries powered by collaboration rather than competition. This brings us to the third principle, community matters. You are never alone on this path. We live in a culture that mythologizes the lone genius, the self made billionaire, the individual who triumphs against all odds through sheer determination and grit. But that narrative isn't just incomplete, it's fundamentally dishonest. Katridra shared a powerful example that dismantles this myth. She described efforts led by Leon Moore highlighting real world solutions, such as Charlotte's Black Business Hub. This initiative aims to dismantle barriers facing aspiring entrepreneurs in local communities. The challenges were familiar: lack of startup capital, limited access to credit, isolation due to underrepresentation. but the solutions were communal. Launching alternative funding models like community lending circles and grants, facilitating networking events pairing emerging founders with seasoned mentors, creating spaces where collaboration could flourish. The results speak volumes. A measurable increase in successful business launches and expansion projects among local Black owned enterprises, dozens more viable businesses launched annually through the Hub's programs, a model now being replicated in other cities as proof that systemic change is possible through innovation and community commitment. This is what happens when we reject the myth of the solitary hero and embrace the power of collective action. Mountains move, systems change, the impossible becomes inevitable. As Katridra said, whether it's ancestors who paved the way or neighbors watching out for you, lean into community support. And remember, collective strength can move mountains. So, where does this leave us? At a crossroads of choice. We can continue to accept the world as it is, with all its barriers and biases and limitations, or we can join the quiet revolution already underway. We can become architects of transformation rather than victims of circumstance. Katridra Benjamin's message transcends demographics, though Black women entrepreneurs are undeniably at the vanguard of this movement. It's for anyone who has ever been told their dreams were too ambitious, their voice too loud, their presence too disruptive. It's for anyone who has ever felt isolated in their struggle, wondering if the mountain before them is simply too steep to scale. It's for anyone who has ever been tempted to surrender because the path forward seems obscured by obstacles. Her message is both simple and profound. Never give up. Center your faith and authenticity. Embrace community. So I challenge you today. Take one bold step towards something you've been told is impossible. Apply for that position they say you're not qualified for. Launch that business they claim won't succeed. Write that book they insist no one will read. But don't do it alone. Reach out to your community, build your support network, create your circle of accountability and encouragement. Because here's the truth that Katridra Benjamin taught me: the journey from struggle to triumph isn't just possible, it's inevitable when persistence meets purpose and individual effort meets collective power. The quiet revolution doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't wait for invitation. It simply begins, one courageous decision at a time, until what was once impossible becomes simply the way things are. Your story isn't over. Your barriers aren't final. Your rejections aren't defining. The only question that remains is, will you join the revolution?